This is a podcast from BFM 89.9, the business station.
Top 5 at 5 on BFM 89.9.
Number 3.
Whistleblowers, if they want protection, need to go to the authorities first before the media.
Right. So Minister of Law and Institutional Reform in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Seri and Azalina Othman told Dewan Rakyat that going to an enforcement agency must be the first step for whistleblowers so that the agency can determine first whether the information is accurate and also if it should be classified under an existing case or a new one.
So this comment was made in response to Seputeh MP Teresa Cox's question about the whistleblower from the Malaysia Kini article from late-ish last year that exposed corrupt assembly persons in Sabah. She pointed to other countries that do provide protection for whistleblowers if they go to the press first, but then went on to say that Malaysia is not there yet and they would go step by step in considering an amendment. That was said by the Law Minister. Yeah,
because that case also I think gave some new technology, some limelight. The pen camera, I think, was quite fascinating. Now, the minister added that whistleblowers do not always provide their information in good faith and it should be up to enforcement agencies to provide justifications when a whistleblower asks for protection. So for their thoughts on this, we reached out to Wathshlah Naidu from the Centre for Independent Journalism for her thoughts on the lack of amendments to the law.
We believe that this would have critical impact on the whistleblower on several grounds. One, what if the wrongdoing actually involves the government, especially the police or MACC or other powerful state leaders? This could possibly lead to conflict of interest and also risk of possible cover-up, suppression, manipulation, and so forth. And of course, it could also potentially create fear of retaliation, especially if there is already a trust deficit when it comes to the authorities. And there are possibilities then of this discouraging people from exposing these wrongdoings. I want to raise the fact that media is the fourth estate of democracy. It actually plays a crucial role in ensuring effective checks and balances and especially to hold the government accountable. The government must also endeavor to ensure that whistleblowers have alternative channels, including the media, given that it is, in fact, the fourth estate of democracy, to ensure that they adopt a progressive approach to protection and accountability of the state.
We also hear from Sudhagaran Stanley, former Deputy CEO of the Centre to Combat Corruption and Cronyism, on whether this will hinder future whistleblowers from coming forward to lodge reports.
I think it's a fair question because I think we've got to look at what are some of the issues within the enforcement agencies, and if we understand clearly, we would know that currently there is a major trust deficit issue on the enforcement agencies in Malaysia, particularly also on MACC themselves. And people just simply don't trust going to MACC, don't trust that their complaints would be really investigated, especially if their complaints are involving high-level personals or politicians and so on, or people who have personal connections with high-level people and so on, right? But to understand this from also Azalina's points of view, I think to be fair to her, the limitations of going into the media, I think to be fair, should be there because, I mean, it's also about defamation, right? We don't want people going to the media and coming up with all sorts of accusations against someone and then they go and get whistleblower protection. I mean, that will be a misuse, of the law itself. More importantly, the issue right now, the discussion right now should be whether we want enforcement agencies to be actually receiving these reports on whistleblowing cases and having the power to actually provide protection and revoke protection or not, because I think we have been calling for this power by MACC or any other enforcement agencies to be taken away, to be actually given to a independent body. So that means, for example, let's say if it's an ombudsman, right? It's an independent body. So once the complaint is received or the information is received, they will take your file and they would pass your file to the relevant agencies. If we are able to actually bring that sort of reforms into the current Whistleblower Protection Act that we're talking about, then I think we would be able to change the situation right now, where we will be able to actually encourage people to come forward to blow the whistle and so on.
That was Sudhagaran Stanley, former Deputy CEO of the Centre to Combat Corruption and Cronyism, or C4. Earlier, you also heard Wathshlah Naidu from the Centre for Independent Journalism. If you have thoughts on this story, that number to call is 7733 2900. Send a voice note or WhatsApp 018 789 8899. Tweet us at BFM Radio.
Number 2.